Alright, welcome back everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to build one of these feeders. Well, I'll show you some of the measurements on them. Anyway, here's the feeder basically. Now, if you guys are watching this and you guys are wondering how long it is to here and here, because I already messed up on these. I had to fix them. Anyway, all you do is you take two pallets and you put them together. They have to be the same width. They don't have to be the same longness. Anyway, and then you put a board and you screw it in there and on the other side. Make sure them kind of level. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you can use 2x4s. What I have here. This is what I used first. These are for like pieces of sheeting to get off the ground. They were just scrap, so I took them and used them for my feeder. Anyway, and then all you have to do is you just need to put a 2x4. You have to make some of these. It's like a L almost. Because you screw a board, you have two 2x4s, and you screw them so they have one's flush on the other one, so it makes kind of like an L shape. And then you screw these other 2x4s, and those go in between. And then you have to put some stuff here. I put one of those there, and then there's a 2x4 right there. And stuff, and then I put a brace in the middle, so when cows are pushing on it, it doesn't really hurt it. And then these boards were just too short, so all I did was I took some boards that are like this and put them down here. See, I just put them down here. I put two of them, so then these boards can land on something. And if you want to get the slant angle in it, I don't know if that's steep enough angle, but it will work for us because we don't, the cows don't really, we don't need a fancy feeder to feed our cows. Anyway, I'll show you the measurement. So, I think this measurement right here is about 6.5 feet. Yeah. I'll show you. Anyway, if you measure to right there, like at the bottom, basically, to the bottom of this L, it should be 6.5. 6.5. And that's how you get your angle. If you want more angle, then you just make that come out for it. And that'll give you more angle. And then the spacing in between these is, this one's probably a little off, but I made it. If you go to the top of your thing, right there, and you go to, just go to the top, anyway. This one is not 6.5, 13.5, but let me flip it around so you can see it a little better. This one's more like but I did 13.5. And that should be wide enough for you. 13.5 to there. So all you do is you butt this, and the 13.5 comes here. But if you're trying to measure it right here, if you measure and you butt up against this one over here, it should be 18 inches. 18 inches. And center should be 16 inches almost. center should be 16 inches. And I don't know how wide this angle is, but I do know it's 6.5 down here, 6.5 down there. It's 6.5 here, and 13.5 for the spacing for the head to go in to go eat and stuff. And I did it on, I put those little boards like this on every single around the corners. And I did the same spacing here too. And when you hit the end, so like right here, I got to the end and this gap's not really big enough to stick for a cow's head to go in. Like a calf might be able to get their head in here, but a mama cow can't. And they might try and then get their head stuck and stuff. So you probably, if you don't want your cows to get your head stuck, they probably want to put a brace or something in here to block that. But once you start getting to the end, I don't know how long this feeder is. This one, ugh, I did it the wrong way. I need to do it. Anyway, we just measure this one. We'll just measure it this way. If I can even get it to work. Was about almost 100. It's 90.5, basically. So that gives you some measurements. So the whole length for this feed is 90.5. Now how long is it from the inside? The inside is about 41.5 inches. So I don't know how long I don't think that'll be big enough to put a full square bell in here, but you don't really need to. I mean, anyway, these ones are 2x4. Now you can see how that one is not really, that one's like barely on the post right here, so I might bring that one down because when cows push, it might just break off that piece. So I might bring it down a little lower. I do have a little bit of room, see. Anyway, so all you do is you make the same angle, and you can make it turn different. Like these ones are pointing that way. So basically it's making a circle because these ones are pointing this way. And then these ones are pointing that way again. And then it just goes around in a circle. Because then these ones are pointing that way. If you can see that. How they are in an angle, they point that way. And the angle's pointing right or something. Anyway, these ones in between. These ones are... Some of them are 13.5. This one's about 13.5, but a little past 13.5. So, and all I did was I did the same thing for the gaps to get the angle. If I wanted this nice angle on here, I just did the same thing. I measured 16.5-ish. 16.5-ish. Anyway, and then once when you get to the end, all you do is you measure your board. And if you have a 13.5, you can mark it, because you can see I have a mark right there. All you do is if you have enough room for a 13.5, you go like that. Alright, 13.5. And then you just line it up there. And the bottom's the same. The bottom is actually different. The bottom is 12 3/4. It should be 12 3/4. So 1 foot and 3/4. So 12 3/4. And then right here you can see I didn't have enough room to get a 12 3/4. So that doesn't really matter. That can be small, but this has to be wide enough for their head to get in, because their head's pretty big and stuff. Anyway, but yeah, And I did all those little angles. That's 6.5 right there and stuff. And then right here I had enough room, barely had enough room to get 13.5 in. So you can see how small that gap is. But then over here, this one, it's a pretty big gap. I might leave that gap, but I think a cow will probably get their head stuck in it and stuff. They always are good at getting their head stuck and stuff. Anyway, hopefully this video got you some ideas for a feeder, and we'll see you in the next one.